Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you to be here to listen me speaking a little bit about difference between ScleraFlex Mini and ScleraFlex and how to move from ScleraFlex Mini to ScleraFlex. So I'm Guillaume. I'm working for Swissland since about 8 years, and my specialty is ScleraFlex and skleral and specialty lens. So now ScleraFlex, choose your size, or we can set side, because basically you will see there is some little bit different between between philosophy between fitting a small or big skleral. Why? A little bit of history, very small, one slide only. Why we should work with different side of skleral. So the first skleral lens is 200 years old, and it was very big. And little by little, we move from very big to small and smaller and smaller. It's very interesting to see that we can do several things with several diameter. So why we have to choose the right diameter for skleral? It's very important to choose the right one, because it changes your fitting. If for example, if you want to fit a very small palpebral fissure, or for pediatric, if you try to put a lens on with 17 millimeters diameter, it will be not very easy for you, and also for the patient, it could be a little bit more stressful. If you can choose to have a scleral lens with a very small diameter, 13.8, it's a minimum for us, it's more easy, and the patient can be more happy to see that he can wear a lens. Sometimes we have normal eyes. That happens. Not with scleral lens, it's not very common, but most of the sometimes we have normal eyes. What is normal eyes? It's an eyes with a fissure, papilla fissure, quite normal, nothing to say about. But sometimes we also have very, very big eye, and we need a large scleral because of dry eye illness and some corneal scleral profile. You see, so in the left of my screen, it's some diameter. We can choose in Swissland. I will show you a little bit later. We can choose by step of 0.1 millimeter between 13.8 up to 18.8. So a large range of scleral. On the right side of my screen, you can see exactly a simulation screen. You can have access in the website. And so with that, you can understand a little bit more about how the design is evaluated during when you change the diameter. So here it's the same base curve, but with three diameter. One is 13.8, one is 16.3 and 16.7, sorry, and the last one is 18.8. So it's something interesting to be able to understand. A little bit of example. For example, this is what we can have in our practice, daily practice. So we can see clearly on the eye is very sharp on the periphery and have a very flat cone in the middle. If you put a lens, on a graph on the right of the screen, if you take the lens like the blue, you see, you will have a problem. You will touch the cone, and you will have a problem. So you can choose and make something a little bit different. This is also something we can see post keratotomy radial. You see, we can see clearly the scar we have, and if you put a normal lens on the eye, you will have a big touch in cornea periphery. So each eye is very different. It's always in scleral, you need a special lens. With ScleraFlex, you can choose and you can manage and you can see what you will get. It's very important to use a simulation online to help you to have a great fitting. The way the lens is sit on the eyes, it's also very important because in some cases, like something like after eye surgery, we need the patient need extra care. That means we need a lot of comfort because after surgery, most of the time they had pain during many years before get surgery, and it could be very complicated. You can hear for some people have only one diameter, a big diameter of scleral lens is only plastic. Just only plastic is not totally right. I can show you, for example, this is an eye with a very low eccentricity. An eye, it's exophthalmic, so that means it's going in front of him. You see on the left, on the right, on the simulation, the blue line is the normal, a normal lens, let's say, and the green one is the one we had to do to fit this lens, this eye. And it's not that easy to. In ScleraFlex, you can do something like that. And it's a huge difference between both. There is 10 degrees, so that means something like 1,000 microns. It's huge. The reverse, it's also something. You see, after some ocular globe injury or vitrectomy surgery, we can see some very, very flat eye and very, very flat cornea and sclera part. And with the simulation, online simulation, and the option you have for ScleraFlex, it's very interesting to see that you can show, so it's a red curve on the right part of the screen. It's very interesting that you can show what you will get on the eye, and so you can imagine before, during, what you will get. It's very important, and for you and to be able to explain to your patient, it's also very interesting. It's something you can show him. It's very easy to communicate with that with your patient. Oh, sorry, last one. Okay, so to start with, for working with the Swissland and ScleraFlex, maybe most of you know the ScleraFlex Mini. ScleraFlex Mini is a 1 diameter lens, scleral lens. It's a 15.1, and it's easy one. That means there is few options. It's something made to help you to start when you don't know how to fit a scleral lens. So with this trial set, it's 12 to 16 lenses. You can fit a lot of things, and it's help you to start something. And to be able to understand a little bit how ScleraFlex move, starting with the ScleraFlex Mini is very important. It can be a very good option, and it's something you can use very easily. But now today, I'm here to show you the difference or the link between both on ScleraFlex Mini, so it's only 1 diameter, to ScleraFlex. So ScleraFlex, it's only, you can choose your diameter. So we already saw that we can choose from 13.8 to 18.8, but also you have a new option. It's a quadrant option. That means it's something like you can, I will show you a little bit later, you can play with your scleral part fitting by quadrant. But the good part is, if you start with the ScleraFlex Mini, you don't need to change the landing zone sag. That means it's the same if you start with the ScleraFlex Mini on, for example, an M2. If you want to increase the diameter, you don't need to think about how I need to do something on central. We make the calculation to keep the same sag in central part, and we just make all the calculations so you can open or enlarge your lens, or if you need smaller, you don't need to change something. You just need to make smaller, and we make the calculation automatically to have exactly the same landing zone sag. Also, another difference, and that's why it's I am here to explain. It's in ScleraFlex, you will have more option on back optical zone and limbal zone. You see on the ScleraFlex Mini, you have only one possibility. Here, you have 5. So it's a huge, huge improvement, and it's something that allowed you to have more personalized fitting and more be able to manage more complicated cases. Edge lift, what is different between symmetrical scleral lens or asymmetrical scleral lens or quadrant specific scleral lens. So you can see symmetrical, on the scleral zone, you have only edge lifts. So that means when you change something, it's changing for all around the lens. For asymmetrical lens, that means you're changing only one part of the lens or only the horizontal part of the lens. And so it's something you can combine. That means you can change edge lift and you also can change asymmetry lens. We use asymmetry also a lot to when your lens is a little bit decentered down, or because we know that on scleral, the horizontal meridian is a little bit more flatter than the vertical one. So it's something we use for that. And quadrant, we can see it's so down on our screen. It's something like we can play edge lift by quadrants. Does that mean you have one in 0, one in 90, one in 180, and one in 270? And it's something you can, for some lenses or some patient, you have to play with that because for Pangiculae, for many reasons, for scar or something like that on the sclera part, it's very interesting to have the option to do something. The ScleraFlex Mini don't offer the option because it's a limited, let's say not design, but limiting option on that to help to start. But now we are not starting. We are something on having a scleral lens with a little bit more option to a fitter to fit more complicated eye. The problem is we need to speak the same language together. So in this slide, you can see which zone, which parameter is working on. So in red, for part 1, you have the back optical zone. You can change the base curve, you can change the diameter on this back optical zone. So it's only for the red. Limbal zone, it's the blue one. So it's zone number 2. You can play with the diameter, you can play with the sag, you can play with the shape. This option is like that a little bit complicated, but I will show you, and in our website, you can have access to the design so you can understand a little bit more, and the technical services is also here for that, to explain you and to show you what is the difference between each option of each limbal zone or what is changing. And for some cases, we can use we need to change the sagittal or the diameter. So it's something you need to understand it a bit. And the part number 3 is the scleral part, you see. And so if you change something on the scleral part, don't expect to have any change on optical zone part. So it's very important to understand that there is some part in each lens, and when you speak with your technical support, it's important to tell them where you want to have a change so they can help you. In a website, for example, we are here in back optical zone. You see, I change only on this picture, only the base curve. You see, we can it's something I choose to change. I choose how many micron I want to change end of the optical zone. So the optical zone is just here. It's just a 2 black line. And you see in red, I decrease by 100 micron. And in green, I increase by 250 micron. And you see what's happened on the design. So your design in the optical zone is more flat, for example, if you make 250 microns more. But be careful. It's not something you have to understand. You have to be aware that here, from this point to here, this is when you see the big red arrow, sorry, it's something where the lens arrive on the sclera. So it's the start of the landing zone. And you see, more you increase here, more you can have a problem, or not a problem, but something here. The lens will arrive more sharp on the sclera. So the graph can help you to understand that and to see how if you want to increase 100 micron, 100, 200 micron, how the design react. So it's more easy to you to understand, and also it can be a really good idea and a way to speak with your customer services to say, okay, I have this problem, and you can show directly to them how it's working. You can also, we saw that you can also increase or decrease the optical zone diameter. Optical zone diameter, internal optical zone diameter have an impact, you see on here, on the limbal. So big, it's something, for some cases, it could be really interesting to change, because we would like to have, I don't know, a little bit less, there is a touch here and we don't want to any touch, so you increase or decrease the optical zone diameter, and it's that help you to avoid this touch. So it's something very interesting for you. Limbal zone. So limbal zone, there is more option, because limbal zone is it's when one of the most complicated zone for patient on scleral part. That's why we open 3 way to change this part. I don't have time today to show you exactly for each one what is the impact on that. But in online, you can play by yourself and understand if you change the diameter, what's happened. If you change the limbal zone sag, what's happened. If you want to change the shape of limbal zone, what's happened. And you can play by quadrant. On ScleraFlex quadrant, you can this part you can play by quadrant. So that means there is a lot of option. So as first, when you start to play with this lens, you can also ask the technical services to help you to understand a little bit more, because sometimes it's not easy to understand. But with the design, online design, you can really, really understand and speak with your technical support about what you do and what you expect to have, and it's something very interesting. Quadrant, so it's something you can have on ScleraFlex. Quadrant, so it's exactly what I explained, the same option. It's on limbal and scleral part. We always speak and make by tableau. So that's mean on the lens, when you have a quadrant lens, on the flattest quadrant, you will have 2 small dots engraved. And from that, you turn tableau cycle. So that means here at 0, you have -10, and 90, you have -10, and 180, -7, and here +10. It's an example. And it's something you can use to really adapt very, very more closer than with another option, or for some eyes, it's very important to be able to adapt very, very much more personalized fitting for some patient. So it's this kind of option in ScleraFlex are not open to ScleraFlex Mini. So but the ScleraFlex Mini, let's say it's a simple option design. It's the same design as ScleraFlex, but there is less option. For sure, ScleraFlex is like ScleraFlex Mini. It's we offer the possibility to order multifocal design. So there is many options available. For sure, it could be toric with cylinder up to -8. So it's easy. You can have the option to choose between center distance, center needs, depend of which customer you want to fit. And so for some, it's better to start. For my opinion, it's better to start with center distance, but it's also possible to order with center knee. And so I finished my small presentation. It's a short presentation for very complicated, maybe a little bit very complicated things. But my idea here is just to allow you and just to show you that even you start with a ScleraFlex Mini, so it's a design a little bit easy, let's say. It's a good start for ScleraFlex, for scleral fitting. ScleraFlex, by SwissSense, you can start from the easy to go for something much more complicated and maybe not complicated, but more easy to manage for complicated eye. Because at the end, the only things you want and we want, it's you will be able to fit lenses on complicated eye and make your patient happy and change their life, because we know when patient needs scleral, that means they need their life. It's a little bit complicated. So that's why we want to offer you the option to have a real opportunity to have access to scleral with a lot of option. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope this was a little bit clear. If you have any question, for sure, reach us, and I will be happy to help you to answer your question. But Lisa and Margarita can do also, no problem. Thank you very much.